Hello again, this is Blanca with Furniture with Imagination. I'm going to be showing you today how to utilize Venetian plaster in another way. I have done several videos on how you can use Venetian plaster to decorate and change things, to give texture, like how to transform your vases and pots, and it can be used in so many different ways. And today I'm going to be using Venetian plaster to decorate this beautiful oak mini dresser that I found. And I had sanded it, I had stripped it, and I had bleached it because I'm looking for a more lighter natural wood. And I'm going to be doing some details with Venetian plaster on the drawers. And I have my Venetian plaster here, and I'm going to be using this stencil from Amy Howard at Home. This is a Mylar Stencil, and see how it goes. Alright, so please tag your friends so you have a chance to win Venetian plaster today. And ask me your questions. Let me know where you're watching from. I love to see where our audience is. And let me know if you like it. Give us a thumbs up. And if you're interested about the products, the links are on the video. Okay? So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I mix the Venetian plaster. And I just realized I had more here than what I'm going to need for the stencil. So I'm just going to put some back in the bag. And how I'm going to do it is I'm not going to put it straight. I want to actually pigment the Venetian plaster a little bit, and I'm going to be using my milk paints for that. So the way you mix and give color to Venetian plaster is you mix the milk paint with the Venetian plaster dry without the water, and you're just gonna actually stir it and mix it. Make sure that all those pigments are really mixed with the Venetian plaster powder, and just go about doing that until you see that the pigment really has fully gotten into the Venetian plaster. Now I actually want to create this kind of like dusty pink color. The color I used was Capri sand, which is kind of like a really beautiful dusty pink, but I want a little bit more deepness, so I'm going to put a little bit more of Capri sand, and I'm going to put a tiny hint of Venetian brown just to give it that darker, more deep color. Okay, so I'm just eyeballing there, and then just start mixing and stirring your Venetian plaster. So make sure that you have the pigments mixed everywhere. And I just want to take a little bit of mixing it up. It's not complicated. Very, very, very simple. Now, when we finish mixing those two colors, we're going to be adding water. And I think the mix is ready now for the water. So we're just going to put this aside, and excuse my cup of water, but it's kind of like easy for me to pour this way. So just a tiny bit, and you start mixing. Now the consistency you want is the consistency of sheetrock. It's going to be thick. It's not going to be watery, or because if you do it watery, what's going to happen is it's just going to like drip down your stencil. So you want to make it basically thick. And the only thing you have to do is mix it really well. Make sure the water goes everywhere and you don't have any leftover Venetian plaster dust dry. So just go about mixing it. It's very easy. If you need to mix higher quantities, I recommend that you use a mixer, something high power to actually help you to mix all that, because otherwise it's gonna tend to get hard.
But that's about all. Look at the consistency. It's actually thick, and we are now ready to apply it to our stencils. Very simple. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to be using this Mylar Stencil from Amy Howard at Home, and this one is called Damask. It's beautiful and it's self-adhesive, and I just actually place it on the drawer. And I'm going to be applying now my mix of Venetian Plaster and my Mill Paint color. Okay, so you see the mix a little bit too pink, but don't worry, when it dries it's going to be drying to the original colors, which are usually less bright when it's dry. So you just take your spatula and you just apply the mix to your stencil. The beauty of using stencils is that you don't have to be an artist to draw something. You know, they have really nice designs, and it's basically ready to just apply either paint or waxes. In this case I decided to use Venetian Plaster. The reason why I decided to do that is because I am leaving this piece raw wood like you see, and I find that the Venetian Plaster is very easy to work. It's very highly textured, and it's perfect for creating an organic and natural look, and that's what I'm looking for, something organic and natural. I don't think the paint looks really well with raw wood personally, so I chose Venetian Plaster, and this is going to last for a long time. It's going to have a basically it's going to be raised, and you can touch it. It's not going to actually get damaged. Okay, so just make sure that you cover the entire stencil, and that's as simple as that. Once I'm done with this, I'm gonna do the corners, and then I'm gonna do the rest of the drawers, and I'm gonna let it sit for probably about a couple of hours before I can sand it. I want to sand the stencil just to make sure it's very smooth to the touch, because I like everything to be super smooth and don't have any like sharp parts on it. And that's it. We're ready to let it dry.
All right, so I'm done with putting the plaster, and what I decided to do is actually just do random patterns, and I just like the way it came out. It's not all the same. It looks really nice, and the color actually, it's this beautiful pale like rose, like dirt rose or something like that. It's really beautiful and it matches perfectly with the raw wood. Okay, so the next step we're gonna do is we're gonna actually just lightly sand the Venetian Plaster, just for anything that is like too high, but it's almost nothing. So there you go, just to make sure that it's all smooth and it doesn't hurt to the touch. You want everything that you do, your surfaces, to be like really smooth. And I have these like little brushes to make sure that all the dust gets away. And that's all we're gonna be doing, just very lightly sanding. And you wanna do that through the entire design. And make sure you remove all the dust, because it's kind of get very dusty. Okay, and that's all. Make sure that everything is taken care of, and we're gonna be ready now for our handles and the last little tiny things. And there you go, as easy as that. You can just do the most beautiful patterns with Venetian Plaster. And I really love it with that raw wood, because it's more natural. It matches more with raw wood than actually paint or, other things. So, all right, so let's just do our final touches and the final reveal.
Okay, so that's our final piece, and I'm gonna do a little close up so you can see from close the Venetian plaster and the details. They came out to be really good, matching perfectly with the raw wood. And they raised, they are really soft to the touch. I really loved it, and I love those copper handles as well. Just so you know, I put some liming wax just to protect the piece and protect the Venetian plaster very lightly, but it turned out to be perfect. It's really smooth to the touch. Now I'm going to be placing photos before and after on my social media if you're interested to see how we started. And that's it. I think I liked it, and also my kitty does. Thank you for watching, and I hope you loved this video.